Sifter for the ear.
News, interviews, reviews, cinema, TV, streaming. Action!
Hi y'all, this is Jerry Williams, aka TV Jerry. Bowtie Cinemas officially opens its new $5 million refurbished movie land at Boulevard Square on Friday, June 27th. It now includes recliners in all theaters, plus 2 cinemas with large format 50-foot BTX screens and immersive Dolby Atmos sound. They'll also be introducing an extended food selection with a bar lounge area and a Playland video arcade with dozens of games and duck pin bowling. I'll actually be shooting my video report of the opening to release on TV Jerry soon after.
I got a call or an email from Viacom attorneys saying that I needed to change the logo. We didn't have to change it too much. We just had to take the strings out that came down, the marionette strings. That was the only real change we had to make.
That was today's guest, Seth Wood, talking about having to change his logo for a series he produced called The Podfather, after getting a response from Viacom, the mass media conglomerate. Seth has created 3 shows in the AGRITAINMENT space, and the other 2 are Corn Warriors and Top Crop. We'll learn more about his unique approach to producing TV reality competitions.
Sifter Review of the Week.
The Waterfront on Netflix. A prominent family in a North Carolina waterfront community faces challenges to their wealth and well-being. Even though they own a restaurant and a fish processing operation, the real money comes from using their boats to smuggle drugs. Obviously, this leads to numerous conflicts and challenges. With showrunner Kevin Williamson, it's all about story and relationships. The plot winds its way through unexpected developments and dramatic encounters, with a few violent moments. The cast is full of flawed characters, with Holt McCallany and Maria Bello effectively leading the hierarchy of relationship issues. Jake Weary, as the conflicted heir, carries much of the show's emotional heft, with Topher Grace providing an especially winsome villain. Williamson knows how to class up the melodrama while keeping sufficient moments of action for extra tension. After all, he did create the Scream franchise. It's not exactly trash TV, but the considerable dramatic flexes create lots of summer escapist fun. I gave The Waterfront 4 out of 5 stars. Seth Wood, welcome to Sifter for the Ear.
Thank you. It's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
The first question I need to ask you is AGRITAINMENT. Did you come up with that phrase, or is that just a phrase in the business that you do? And tell us what it means.
AGRITAINMENT is not something I came up with, but it's definitely something we utilize to describe what we do. Agricultural entertainment, a unique niche that there wasn't a lot of products available, not a lot of entertainment for the ag community. When I started this about 10 years ago, creating content for farmers, homesteaders, gardeners, livestock keepers, anyone that's in the ag industry.
How did you get into this field, pun intended?
Yes, pun intended. I like that. So I got into making these agritainment shows because I saw a need.
How did you find that need? Were you a farmer yourself at some point?
No, I haven't been a farmer. I'm a gardener, but not a row crop farmer.
Right.
There's so many different levels. I'd love to own enough land to have a farm one day and put some of this knowledge that I've gained in the last 10 years to good use. But at the moment, we're still in the suburbs. The way I came up with it was I noticed that there wasn't a lot of television available for the ag community. I was, at the time, about 10 years ago, a huge fan of the TV show called Gold Rush.
Footnote.
Gold Rush is a Discovery Channel series that follows the gold mining efforts of various families. It's been running for 15 seasons.
And I thought it'd be really cool because I had a client that was a nutrient company for farmers, providing some of the minerals and the nutrients that the crop needs in order to grow properly. And I thought it would be a really neat idea to have something similar to Gold Rush for farmers. So our first flagship show is called Corn Wars.
Right.
And we put that together about 9 years ago. We ran that for about 6 years. And then we put together another show. It was a contest reality documentary series. And then we put together another show at the same time. It was running at the same time called The Podfather.
Right.
And then we merged the 2 of those shows together. And now we got a show called Top Crop, but we took out the contest element of it. And we've just focused on sustainability, profitability, and what it takes to help farmers gain traction and, keep the farms, because it's pretty hard nowadays to keep the farms. A lot of farms going under these days. So
Yeah, I want to get into each one of those a little bit, but first, what's your background in production?
I went to school 1996. I started out, I was going to be a lawyer, attorney, corporate law is what I wanted to practice. And then the college that I was attending had a communications program that acquired an edit system. And I was able to get into some of the training on the edit system, and I just immediately fell in love. I had always made little videos with our VHS camcorder,
Right.
stop motion, fun stop motion things with our toys. And one video, I bounced a basketball all the way around the neighborhood, special effects.
Right.
And so I started studying the editing.
Now, let me interrupt you real quickly. As somebody who was in the business since digital editing started, which system was this? Was this before Avid or?
No, this was Avid.
Oh, it was
MPC
Media Composer.
Express
Okay.
was the first.
This very show will be edited on an Avid, believe it or not.
Oh, cool. And I quickly switched from pre-law. I decided that I wanted to get into communications and media. So in 1999, I finished school and started at a television station first, running master control, editing.
Where was that?
Toccoa, Georgia, a small
Okay.
town in Georgia called Toccoa. And then as soon as I got out of college, I moved to Charlotte and became an associate producer for Mediacom, television broadcast facility down there. They used to do a lot of the Speed Channel, NASCAR, and then also Inspirational Network. So I got to travel around, do a lot of extreme sports. I was associate producer, and 3 different shows I helped produce there while I was there. So that was from about 2000 to 2003. So I've been doing this a minute.
Right. Well, speaking of doing it for a minute, I know you've been in production for a while here too.
Surprise guest drop in.
Somebody's dropped in to put in their 2 cents about working with you as a producer.
Hey!
Yeah, we love Cahill. He's one of the producers on several of our shows.
Footnote.
In addition to working with Seth, Cahill Dote is a producer and actor in his own right. I'll include my podcast with him on the webpage for this show at TV Jerry. So how did you guys connect?
Wow, originally it was through the Virginia Production Alliance, 2009, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You had just moved to town, I think, and then, you hit the ground running. That's how Seth is. He just hits the ground running. And we're just like, man, this guy, he seems like he knows what he's doing. He's young, he's hungry, and he really knows his stuff. I can't wait to work with him, hire him for a project. Throughout the years, that's what we've done. I've hired him, he's hired me.
Seth, what did Cahill bring to the mix?
Oh, Cahill brings so much to the mix. Anytime you work with Cahill, it's like working with 6 extra people, I like to say. He's a man of many talents. Having somebody to work with to at least split up some of the driving and coordinating and even filming on location was huge at the outset of building the Corn Warriors series. We just had a lot of fun with it. It was really kind of something new and something fresh, and we got to know a lot of these farmers really well. And
It's like a whole different culture. As we started adding people to the crew and getting bigger and bigger, I would fight him on this. But Seth was always like, we've got to feed the crew the best restaurants and the best food. And I'm like, we're going to a 5-star restaurant. I'm like, what are you doing? You're spending $70 per person for the crew. Nobody does that.
Just get him a pizza, right?
Yeah,
That's
I'm like, let's go to McDonald's. And he's like, we will never go to McDonald's.
How many times did you try to go to Taco Bell?
And Taco Bell was my thing. I'm like, Taco Bell's good. The vegans can eat at Taco Bell. He's like, no, we're going to eat at nice restaurants. And so that was kind of a really cool treat for the crew because at least once per shoot. So that was kind of cool. And then also with the realities of the reality TV show, we didn't really set up stuff like other reality shows did. Stuff would just happen. And so we would be on the fly with walkies. And I'd be like, Seth, you've got to get to the field. They've just discovered bones. Oh my gosh, this might be a human that was murdered on the farm field. Turns out it was an animal, but it was just really kind of cool on the fly. It was almost as if we were live because if something happened, like a wheel fell off a tractor, you don't get a second take. So you have to quickly rush. Okay, stop whatever you're filming. get in the 4x4 and, come a mile down the road, we got drama happening. And Seth was really good at just boom, hopping out, filming it. We had GoPros on everything, so we would catch stuff that way.
Footnote.
A GoPro is a small portable camera that's used to capture action scenes. Well, Cahill, thank you for dropping in. I know this is not your first drop in or even your first podcast. You've had two of your own.
Should I get like a deal memo from you? Like, maybe a 3-picture deal? This is becoming.
Well, actually, it's funny. When Rita McClinney was on and the surprise drop in was Andy Edmonds, she said, Andy, you've been on so many times. Maybe you need to get like a jacket like they have on Saturday Night Live after you've been on a certain number of times. So maybe you'll get a T-shirt one day, Cahill. That's all I can promise.
I like that. And maybe a t-shirt will have like each time you do a show, you get a different like badge, like a merit badge or something.
Yeah, you keep hoping. Keep hoping.
Ah, well, thanks for doing the show. Thanks for getting Seth on here. I think people are going to really love what they hear. And I appreciate everything you do for us.
Okay, thank you so much, Cahill.
All right, bye, Seth. Hope to see you soon.
Bye, KL. Thank you for the kind words. Checks in the mail.
Bye. Oh, yeah. Oh, that would be nice.
There you go.
All right, take care, man. Bye.
Yes, sir.
I know he talked about Corn Warriors, and you've mentioned it before. How did it start? What was your idea, and what's the objective of the show?
So the objective of Corn Warriors, our first series, was to educate farmers on things that are working in other areas so that they can utilize and test some of these things to hopefully get more profitable and higher yields on their own farms.
Right.
We also wanted to educate the public on what farming is all about. Kind of a common misunderstanding, I would say, on how much work it actually takes to farm and grow crops. A lot of people think you just put seed in the ground and watch it grow, but there's a whole management process and there's a lot of science and chemistry that's involved in actually growing a profitable crop. Showcasing that in a series, an entertainment series that also had the contest element, put everybody against each other to compete for the title of the series, because we had one winner each year, and then the loser, the last place, would always get knocked off the show, kind of like Survivor.
What does the winner get? Just to be the winner of the season?
Yeah, winner gets all kinds of things. So they would get sometimes sponsorships from different companies that were sponsoring our show. They would get a crown. We had a special crown made.
Hopefully made out of corn or corn cobs.
No, it's not made out of corn. It was made out of brass, and it was you can see it on our website, actually, in a couple places in the background if you scroll around on our website. It was actually made out of bullets. So it was kind of a cool crown that we would pass around to the winner each year. And then several years we actually gave the winner also a throne. So we would call the winner each year the king of corn for that year.
Uh-huh. And how many seasons and how did it change over the years?
The folks in it, as I mentioned, kind of rotated in and out a little bit. Like the loser of the series would get dropped and we'd bring somebody new in. So that was one thing that changed. But it stayed a contest. It stayed a reality documentary series for its entire run of 6 seasons. We had a guy that was growing over 600 bushels of corn in 1 acre from Virginia, actually, from our home state of Virginia, was in the series. I think it was 3 or 4 years. We would get just different types of people that were relatable. We'd showcase how they do it on their farm.
Now, you have 2 other shows. It's funny because you obviously like to use puns on popular stuff, Top Crop, which you know what that's supposed to be, and The Podfather, that's obvious too. So how did those come about?
Well, apparently I'm a big Viacom fan, or at least I like to get into their inbox, which we did with The Podfather.
Oh, really?
Funny story. The first logo that we put together for The Podfather was a little closer to the Godfather logo than they would have liked. So the first episode that ran on RFD TV, which is where all of our shows have run, which is the Ag Network, I got a call or an email from Viacom attorneys saying that I needed to change the logo. We didn't have to change it too much. We just had to take the strings out that came down from, I don't know if you remember the Godfather logo. Yeah, the marionette strings. That was the only real change we had to make, but it was a little flattering, actually.
To get their attention. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I do love puns. Almost every episode we've ever named was punny in some way.
What's the best one you ever did?
One of the most popular ones we ever did was in the early years of Corn Warriors, and it was like green versus red. which is a common contest, the green tractors versus the red tractors.
Oh, okay.
You either love the green and hate the red, or you love the red and hate the green. So that resonated a lot with quite a few folks.
How is Top Crop different from Corn Warriors?
So Top Crop is more focused on the profitability aspect of farming. While before in other series, we were focused more on yield, and it didn't necessarily take into account the profitability factor. So Top Crop and the Podfather kind of got together. We added multiple crops. Now we're looking at rice and cotton and wheat. We're looking at all kinds of specialty crops like tobacco this year, and hoping to get blueberries, vegetables, kind of more of the stuff that we eat. Because a lot of the crops that are produced by the guys that we work with either go to ethanol, they go to feed, they go to plastics. They don't really go for food.
Right.
And so that's the sustainability of the farm, keeping the farm alive, is a big part of the focus of the newest series.
How is Top Crop and Podfather different?
So the Podfather was another reality documentary contest series, almost the same as Corn Warriors series, except it was all about soybeans instead of corn.
Okay.
We featured all corn in the first series, all beans in the second series, and now we've branched out to specialty crops, other row crops, and we're looking for that top crop, the one that's the most profitable, that we think other farms should utilize as another widget on their farms to help maintain the farm.
Now, I know you've shot a lot of these, and I've watched some of it, and and it's crazy because you're out there in the fields, you've got the cameras in the trucks, tractors, I'm not sure what you call those things, talking. What's one of your best story or two of something that went wrong or that was surprising or that was a great story?
There's too many. The running joke is that anytime I show up, stuff goes wrong.
Oh, Lord, that's a great reputation.
It's just how it happens. There's a lot of things that go wrong. Like, for instance, the last trip that I took to Ohio, just about everything that could go wrong was going wrong. And it was just a horrible day. And it's very real. You feel the emotion of the farmer as they're frustrated with their machines and with technology. It really brings you in because it's all real emotion. None of it's staged, none of it's scripted, never a take two in anything that we do. And in fact, if I blink, sometimes I'll miss it. So we have to stay very alert and very ready to capture the moment. That's why we use a lot of GoPros. We use the drone a lot. My camera rig has 3 cameras mounted on it. I've got a tight shot, a wide shot, and a social media shot all at the same time.
So by social media, I assume you mean that's vertical?
It is, yep.
Okay. So tell me, what is RFD TV?
Yeah, RFD is a pretty unique channel. It's, to my knowledge, at the moment, still the only television station that is ag-focused. They are on DirecTV, Dish Network, and Comcast. They've been around for many years, and they highlight pretty much every aspect of the ag industry.
Cahill mentioned you have a small crew, but I believe in the summertime you expand your crew in a certain unique way.
No, I do. I travel a lot with my family now. For about 7 years, I spent probably about 6 months out of the year away from my family. Granted, I would come home every couple of weeks, spend a few days, and then head back out. But now we've got a camper, and I'm able to travel with the family to the different locations.
Do you put any of them to work on the sets, or do they just do whatever they want to do while you're doing the work?
My 8-year-old daughter loves to join me on set. She loves to hold a camera. She's definitely got an eye for good quality shots, and I'm hopeful that maybe she'll take over the shows one day.
Oh, great. And how has the response been in general from the viewers on the TV network?
It's been phenomenal. We were blown away the first couple seasons we did it. There's an event that we go to that the National Corn Growers Association puts on with several other associations in different cities across the U.S. But when we would go to those events, we would just get inundated with folks that are familiar with the show, and they would come up to the talent, ask for autographs and take photos. And we just kind of created a whole culture around the programs that we started producing.
The company, interestingly, your production company is called, it's a great name, Swood Media, or Swood Media. How do you pronounce it? It's your name, obviously.
Yeah, my name is Seth Wood, so Swood Media is the name of the company.
And do y'all do stuff other than these 3 shows?
No, this is the full-time gig. The first two shows are no longer running. The Corn Warriors and the Podfather. We're not making new episodes, but we do retain the trademark for the Corn Warriors name in case we want to go back. And I do have plans to do some reunion series. Maybe all the losers get together and have a season, a short mini season where we'd catch up with them and see how they're doing. Yeah, it's all top crop right now, full-time top crop. We're in our third season of production now. Just ended planting round. There's about 4 to 5 rounds that I hit, 5 different locations.
Now, let me clarify that. So that what that means is like you go to all 5 locations, shoot them planting, then you go back when they're whatever the next step, and then harvesting, so on and so forth. Is that what you mean by that?
Correct,
Oh, wow,
yes.
okay. So you're moving all over the country too, obviously.
We are. We film in Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, Arkansas, North Carolina. We've been in Maryland. We've been in Alabama, Tennessee. A lot of the states, especially in the Corn Belt. We film at a lot of different locations.
And you mentioned to me when we were talking originally that you have an interesting model for independent filmmakers that you're trying to promote.
Yeah, there's definitely, for certain types of programs like the one I decided to produce, there's a lot of product placement opportunity. And that model that I've kind of utilized in order to generate the revenue for making the program is a little bit unique in that we feature certain products and certain companies, technologies. Sometimes it's certain practices, like we're talking to agronomists. But those companies will come in and purchase, a segment, time in 2 segments. Maybe they want to be at the beginning and the end of the season. I mean, it's not unique in that it's never been done before, but it's a lot of times utilized in films, I
Right,
think,
sure.
more
Yeah,
than
yeah.
in television. And I just found a way to kind of bring it into the reality space where we could, fully fund the programs without having to have independent funding.
And of course, there are commercials on the show, so those are part of that too.
Yeah, there's a whole package of things that people get. They get social media placement. They can get TV spots, which we can also produce for them. So we'll do the production and the producing on television spots that they can use either on social media or other TV programs. And then they get the built-in placement. There's newsletter. There's in-person events. There's all kinds of stuff.
So on the network, there are ads. Are those your ads that you're profiting from, or do they insert their ads into your show and then you just have your product placement for your income?
It can work a couple different ways. The way I've worked it out with the network that we air on is that I give them about 4 minutes of the time during the 30-minute block to use their own commercial slots.
Right.
And then I get whatever of that I want to insert my own commercial spots, I can utilize for myself, or it can have no commercial spots and have it all in the show, and then the only spots you see would be the television network's sold spots. So it's a combination of the two.
Right, right. And do you have another crop that you're looking at starting a new show about?
We're always looking at new content. We want to do something that relates to or showcases the farming industry that's not as educational. The more we've gotten into the Top Crop series and all the series, the more education we've put out. And it kind of goes over the head of a lot of the general public. So we want to do a series that kind of relates more with the general public and can kind of be a PR arm for the ag industry as well. So we're working on something in that vein, probably a year or 2 out. But yeah, I mean, I get contacted all the time for new shows. The World Health Organization contacted me the other day, wanted me to help with a show, but I'm just too busy. I got to focus on Top Crop.
So you've created 3 successful series pretty much on your own skills and resourcefulness. So how would you say you might inspire others that may be considering doing their own projects, whether it's a movie or a series or whatever?
Well, I'd say the main thing that I'm hoping folks, at least in our industry, can garner from what I do is that you do have the ability to create your own projects. You do have the ability to find the funding. Sometimes you have to think outside the box, and sometimes you gotta get a little uncomfortable. I did invest quite a bit of my own resources and funds by doing side projects at the very beginning. It was the only way I could get enough episodes for the television station to consider us as a series.
Right.
So sometimes it does take that investing in yourself and believing in yourself that you can do it. Utilizing things like the product placement method can really open up some doors, I think, for people.
Now, the last question I always like to ask, when you're not working on your own crops, what do you like to watch on TV? Do you get away from agriculture stuff, I hope?
So I, for a long time, was a huge fan of Gold Rush and Deadliest Catch, but now my vice, and I don't get to watch much TV because I'm too busy producing it, but I do love Survivor. I didn't watch
okay.
it for like 20 years. I was like, that's silly show, and they kept running. So now I'm catching up, and I've watched about 20 seasons of Survivor in the last few years. So I'm a huge fan of that series, and that's pretty much the only series I watch at the moment.
Oh, well, I gave up after season 1. I enjoyed season 1, then I gave up on it, but that's okay. Well, Seth, this has been fascinating. I'm glad I finally got you on the show, and it's always interesting to find out what people are doing that's unique and interesting in our business, and you certainly have found a niche.
Well, thank you for having me, Jerry. I really appreciate the time and helping promote our shows, especially here in Virginia.
That was Seth Wood, producer-director of 3 reality shows in the AGRITAINMENT space, Corn Warriors, Top Crop, and The Podfather. I'll have links to the shows on the webpage for this show at tvjerry.com.
Coming soon. In theaters.
F1 the movie. Brad Pitt has been working on this film for years with Joseph Kosinski, the director behind Top Gun Maverick. Pitt plays a former Formula One driver who's convinced to come out of retirement to mentor a promising young talent, played by Damson Idris. The production team actually shot around and during many of the year's big races. Megan 2.0. A robotics engineer and her niece partner team up with their homicidal android to take down a military-grade version of Megan that got away, with Allison Williams, Violet McGraw, Amy Donald, and Gina Davis.
TV and streaming.
Smoke on Apple. From novelist Dennis Lehane comes this fiery crime drama starring Taron Egerton as an arson investigator who joins forces with a headstrong detective, Journey Smollett. They're looking for a pair of firebugs, and it's inspired by true events. Countdown on Amazon Prime. An LAPD officer joins a secret task force to investigate a suspicious murder, but uncovers a sinister plot to stop a weapon of mass destruction, from the creator of Chicago PD. Enigma on Max. An exploration of transgender identity through icons April Ashley and Amanda Lear. The Old Guard 2 on Netflix. Charlize Theron plays the leader of a secret group of noble fighters who are also immortal. Their exposure is threatened in this sequel. Dark Winds drops a new season on AMC, while the Netflix monster series Squid Game has its 3rd and final season, taking up after the cliffhanger from last year. You may remember Jean Reserve, who was an anchor in CNN for almost a decade, or if you're a longtime Richmonder, you may remember her from being on the air here at Channel 6. She's got lots of great stories about being behind the news desk and in front of the camera, and she'll be my guest next week. This is Jerry Williams. Thanks for listening.
For more Sifter, including literally thousands of reviews,
Visit tvjerry.com.
That's a wrap.